Check 1, 2. Check 1. Check 2. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, morning people. Welcome to the greatest morning show on earth, where every morning you find out everything. Today is January 11, 2023. And we are alive. We're alive. We are alive like nobody else. Like nobody else's business. 2, 3, 4. Waiting for the stream to kick in. How you doing, everybody? How you doing? Marcus Conte reporting. Marcus Conte reporting. Smoke them if you got them. Ignition. And blast off. And there we are. How are you, everybody? Good morning, everybody. Marcus Conte reporting. Marcus Conte everybody. Whoa, I was holding off on this one. I held my fire on talking about McCarthy being the House newly elected House Speaker. It looks like it's confirmed, but what's he going to do while he's there? He wasn't, it appeared, many of his own party wasn't very happy with the pick of Kevin McCarthy because Kevin wasn't paying attention to certain senators, congressmen, and it seems like the congressman got his attention, and now Kevin McCarthy has been confirmed as the Speaker of the House. Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Good times have come. Good times have arrived in America. We have a Republican House of Representatives, leadership there. All the laws now, all the new bills are going to come down the Republican side of the pipe. And what does it mean? What does it mean for us? Are they going to investigate the FBI and the inappropriations during the elections? Are they going to look at Hunter Biden's laptop? Are they going to take care of the border? Are they going to reduce the debt? Well, they say they're going to do all of it. And Hannity, you got to give credit where credit is due. Hannity got the interview. Hannity got the first interview with Kevin McCarthy, a lot of Republicans standing in the back, clapping, smiling. What a show. What a show we're getting. Right? And he tells the American public, Adam Schiff gone. Stilwell. All these Democratic committee leaders are gone. Stilwell, gone. And Ilhan Omar as well as gone. Adam Schiff down. Adam Schiff down for the count. All of his lies came screaming back in his face. So that story. Also, fat children in America. How do we solve the problem? Seems that we have a obesity problem in America, and it's not just adults, but it's the kids, and they're fat. And it looks like the industry, the health industry, the medical industrial industry, is leaning towards drugs and surgery for children because they're fat. All right? In complete transparency, not as a first line of defense, but actually they do say that diet and exercise and lifestyle are number one in decreasing childhood obesity. But there's no money in that. Do you know that if a kid is fat, he can't see a nutritionist and insurance won't pay for it? You got a fat kid, and we know he's fat, and we know it leads to, fat-related health issues. But the kid can't get in front of a nutritionist because the insurance companies won't pay for it. He has to have some sort of other ailment like type 2 diabetes or something else before they could get money for a nutritionist. So it looks like instead of going in that route, which hasn't happened since, that's been argued since the 1970s to include nutrition and dietary as part of prevention of disease. Diseases would plummet if you did that. If you had a first line defense against obesity in this country, starting with nutrition and exercise people that know what they're talking about, and if you put on top of that a little bit of meditation, just a little bit, you would have healthier kids. But it looks like because of the system that we have and where is the money, they're moving more towards obesity medications, a medication you take to make you lose weight, and surgery. So what is obesity surgery? It's basically, stapling a fucking stomach or cutting out a piece of intestine. It's barbaric is what it is. Right? It's self-mutilation. You're mutilating kids. Right? So we'll look at that story as well. And whatever else comes up. Good morning, everybody. Vinny D. Martini in the house. Jim Gerard. What's up, Jim Gerard? Casa Philly Camden. Tetragrammaton Ghost out there in cow country in Arizona. Welcome. Good morning. Good morning. Zoot Suit Cooter, my brother in the house. Who else is here? Everybody's here. Everybody. Jim Gerard, I see your name. I see you there, man. I see you, my brother. So we'll look at those stories today. And it looks like Trump. I mean, it looks like, in my view, now that McCarthy, that's the big story. If McCarthy is the House Speaker, and look by just gauging his vernacular and the other Republicans sitting at the top of the House right now, it does look like they're going to support Trump. They're calling him President Trump. They're initiating all of the committees that Trump had initiated, mostly looking at government interference in social media that leads to interference in elections. So we're going to get a committee. We got a committee. Jim Jordan leading up the committee. Jim Jordan leading up the committee. Looks like Trump's going to win 2024. Watch out, Biden. I told you, don't rule Trump out. Don't rule Trump out. Yeah. There's a guy down in Florida, Ron DeSantis. He's a young man and he's doing the right thing. But don't discount Trump. Trump is the leader of the Republican Party. Whether you like it or not, he is the voice of the Republican Party. He's now mobilizing the minority there, and they're taking control. They're taking power, and it looks like McCarthy is following suit. Now I know snowflakes in the world. Oh my God, the left is crying right now. Oh my God, I can't believe it. Oh, fucking Adam Schiff, he got fired. Bring back Nancy Pelosi. Oh my God. They're crying right now. They're terrified. They're terrified that their safe space is being invaded, and they don't know what to do. They're so nervous and so full of anxiety, and it's your fault that I feel this way. I feel this way because you said something that hurt my feelings. Those snowflakes are popping right now. Snowflakes are melting. They're melting. They're melting. So we love the snowflakes. We love you, and we hope that you... We hope that you melt pleasantly and maybe, come down someday as something useful instead of just yellow snow. So this is my thumbnail today. Trump 2024 confirmed by House. Breaking news. I sound like H.A. Goodman right now. Breaking news. Trump will be the president again in 2024. No doubt. Again, just by gauging the air, it doesn't look like Republicans are going to turn on Trump. In 2016, when the Republicans turned on Trump, Trump won. When they half-assed, supported him in 2020, he lost. So you gotta wonder: is it good for Trump? Is it bad for Trump? I think it's good for him. I think when you have a young, aggressive Republican Party in leadership roles with a leader, Kevin McCarthy, who seems to be playing ball, I think you got a winning team. You're going to get these investigations. Look, the biggest problem right now, whether you believe it or not, is the fucking censorship. They're shutting people up when people can't speak in an open democracy, it's not an open democracy. It's not a free and fair system. When you politicize and or weaponize government agencies like the FBI, you're hurting the people. Whether some snowflake like Adam Schiff and his fans sitting in Congress believe it to be true that Trump is the orange monster, the racist, misogynist, fucking homophobe, whatever they call him, right? Is if you believe that garbage, that he's in bed with the Russians, that's on you. That's on you. But it doesn't seem to be taking Trump down a notch. Do we really want Trump? Is Trump better than Biden? I would say so. I don't think that that's disputable. I think that Trump would bring back a vibrant America first unification kind of message, freedom, democracy, a great America, a strong America, manufacturing in America. Well, we've heard these stories before, and we'll probably hear them again. But is any of it going to materialize? Are the Republicans going to take power, and then in a month or two from now, they're just going to sit back and take the money from corporate America and vote the way they were voting anyway? Well, maybe we'll see. But what you won't have is ridiculous, ineffective, weaponized committees like Adam Schiff, weaponizing a rally, on January 6th, saying that the people that showed up to Congress to voice their opinion on election integrity, poor election integrity in our country, are somehow terrorists, right? I mean, just by starting a committee to look at the evidence, and getting rid of the jerk-offs that did it, and impeach the president based on a phone conversation with the then president of Ukraine, Zelensky. So we're living in interesting times. I think that Trump wins in 2020. So let's start right here at the top of the story. My name is Marcus Conte. I forgot to put my website on Marcus Conte. I do have one. Here it is. Marcus Conte, I have a website, and every morning at 9 a.m. we are live. Look at that. We're here. We're on YouTube, Rumble, Odyssey, BitChute, Facebook, Twitter, Getter, Truth Social, and wherever else you consume your social media. Every morning at 9 a.m. And looks like we're back running. It looks like the FBI's got some pressure on their throat. They're pulling back. We're still speaking. We're still allowed to speak. Anyone who is not a snowflake is being allowed to speak again. Let's see how long it lasts. And if that fails, we go back to D Live, and we'll still be here. We'll be here with or without you. I have a PayPal link and Patreon if you want to contribute in any way to this program. And thumbnail. So let's start with the top story. Why wait? Let's dive right in. Kevin McCarthy confirms House panel boot for Schiff, Swalwell, and Omar. All right. So he's holding, he got in, House Speaker got in on Saturday. And he did a wonderful interview with Sean Hannity on Fox. We're going to watch parts of that, which is fascinating, really. I mean, you talk about bringing the voice of the Republican Party right to the people. Fascinating interview. And I was going to say something else very, very important, but I just forgot what it was. Anyway, I'll think of it later. So, House Speaker Kevin McCarthy confirmed late Monday that he will make good on his pre-midterm pledge to remove 3 high-profile Democrats, Representative Adam Schiff, Eric Swalwell, and Ilhan Omar, from their House committees. Bye, Miss American Pie. I throw my Sheraton. So they're gone. McCarthy told the Associated Press that he would move to strip the trio of their assignments, following through on a vow of payback for ousting Democrats or ousting Republicans. Paul Gauzer, Marjorie Taylor Greene. So tit for tat. Democrats kicked the Republicans out of their committee seats, and now the Republicans are fighting back, kicking out the Democrats. Goodbye, Adam Schiff. What is Adam Schiff going to do with his life? He's going to move to Israel with Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi, I tell you, Nancy Pelosi is looking to escape to Italy. You heard? She wanted to be the ambassador to Italy. Right? She was up for the position to be ambassador of Italy. She didn't get the job, but it tells you what is in the mind of Nancy Pelosi, and probably, the drunken fucking, DUI driving husband, Paul, will probably end up in Italy, and Adam Schiff, not an Italian, might just join him someday. Why not? So that's confirmed. Let's go right to the here it is. McCarthy confirms Swalwell, Schiff, and Omar will be off committees they previously served. Swalwell can't get a security clearance, and Schiff has lied to the American people. Lied. Oh my God! You got a House Speaker saying that the head of the what is it? The fucking committee, foreign affairs committee or whatever committee Adam Schiff was leading up. You got the House Speaker now saying he's a liar. Not only get rid of him, but he's a liar. Wow, that's heavy. It's heavy. So let's watch Hannity throw a softball. I mean, all right, in fairness, you should ask some tough questions, but you're not going to hear that out of Sean Hannity's mouth. This is a fluff piece. A Fox fluff piece. Ding, ding, ding. Let's watch the fluff piece because it's really fluffy and wonderful. So let's watch it.
Continue tonight reporting from Washington, D.C., the swamp. As I've been saying, House Republicans now unified behind an agenda to hold the Biden administration accountable on everything from the border to the origins of COVID, the FBI. Are they politicized? Is the DOJ weaponized? And we continue now with the new Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy.
Look at all those smiling Republicans. I've never seen a fucking interview like this, right? He did the interview with all of the bigwig Republican House people. This is this woman right here in the green jumpsuit. I remember her from Staten Island. She's the congresswoman who beat that little jerk off guy that I chased around in the street. I forgot his name. The congressman from Staten Island, Max Rose. If you remember the clips, I chased him down and I asked him a question on healthcare, and he was like, blah, 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 I don't know, man. So that's Nicole Maliotakis sitting up front. She's got a front row seat. Nicole Maliotakis, coming from Staten Island with nothing, has now got a front row seat in the Republican House. Good for her, man. Good. You got to give it to her. Let's listen to the Republicans spin it.
Along with House Majority Leader Steve Scalise joins us, and House Republican Conference Chair Elise Stefanik. Good to see you all. You guys all happy with your leadership now? If not, I was thinking we could always hold another vote or two.
I think I've had enough.
You had enough. We've known each other for a long time.
Wow, they're all laughing. They're all together. What do you know? The Democrats are saying, look, the Republicans are falling apart. They can't get anything done. I don't know about that. They got a lot done. They got 33,000 views, and people are paying attention to them.
Steve, and this is, to me, a pivotal moment for the country. I know, for example, I do 3 hours of radio every day, and I hear from my audience every day, and they are genuinely frightened about the economy, about energy, about open borders, all the things that is on that paper that Kevin has. How realistic is it that we can get all of this done?
Well, Sean, I think it's so important that the American people finally said enough is enough. And look, there is a lot of despair out there. Families are struggling. And the real problem was they did not see Washington working for them because Washington was working against them. The problems families are facing from higher costs, inflation.
He's throwing a lot of canned, canned stuff out there right now. He's not. I don't know. Steve Scalia is not really speaking from the heart, but it's fun to listen to, right?
High energy costs, open border, all created by President Biden. The extreme agenda of Nancy Pelosi.
Come on, it's not. It wasn't all Biden. Everybody had something to do with that, with the problem of rising debt in America. But nonetheless, we're listening. Let's listen.
Pelosi and Chuck Schumer. And so people said, okay, we've got one opportunity to at least put some checks and balances and send people willing to fight for the families that are left behind. And that was really at the heart of the rules package. Because before we can go start fighting for those families, we had to change the way Washington worked. And that's really why the Democrats were so concerned about these rules changes, because they realized the party's over. The idea that you can write 4,000 or 5,000 page bills by dark of night, the old Pelosi way of you got to pass the bill to find out what's in it, those days are over.
So that 72-hour rule is rock solid.
72-hour rule, single subject bills, Sean, allowing members, all members, not just in leadership, but rank and file members to be engaged in the process.
McCarthy says something really good in this clip. That's why I'm playing it. He rams it home. Just let Steve Scalia finish.
Of going to bat for those families who are struggling.
And add amendments during the appropriations process.
Yeah, that hadn't happened.
You know what's the difference now? This is probably more people in the public that's ever been in the Capitol in the last 2 years. We've now opened the doors. I want to invite everyone who's listening. If you've ever dreamed of coming to D.C., come to D.C.
Wow.
And you know what? You can sit in the gallery and you can watch us debate. You can see your government at work, because this is your house, this is your government, and we have just now empowered you even greater than ever before. So
this is your house and your government. Oh, man, it brought a tear to my eye. It brought a tear to my eye. What does it say to the January 6 people that showed up to do exactly that? Wow, what a turn of events. What a different perspective on what happened and what is happening to government. You see how the paradigm shifts? It goes left and right, but you gotta ride the wave, man. You can't say, "Oh, fuck it, it's all garbage." No, it's not garbage. It's what it is, right? And it's sounding pretty good to me. It's sounding better. It sounds like they're moving in the right direction.
that brings accountability just to start out with. And we want you to join with us. No matter what party you're in. But if you believe in securing your border, if you believe that you want to be able to fill up your tank, but have money left over for food, that you want to be energy independent.
Did you see the story out of your state of California? The notice they sent out?
Yeah.
To expect your energy bill to double from where it was last year.
Because what Gavin Newsom has done to California, he has shrunk our grid. And then
Let's jump to the next one. This one's a little better. This is exclusively Kevin McCarthy and nobody else. Let's listen.
And joining us now with more, his first television interview since taking the gavel, the 55th Speaker of the House of Representatives, Kevin McCarthy. How was your week last week?
it was entertaining. I think I built a little
Good
name.
answer.
I'm not quite sure.
Actually, I think that's a good way to put it. What's amazing about this, to me, and I may be wrong, but tell me if I'm right, because I talked to a lot of members. I know a lot of people in this room tonight, and a lot of you, thank you, by the way, for coming. And some of you are not going to be on TV, but you came because you wanted to support the Speaker. But I have a feeling that 222 people agree on Jim Jordan's investigation, and that would be into whether the FBI is politicized, the DOJ weaponized.
They
Yes.
weaponized from Homeland, FBI. And, we've watched.
Whoa! The House Speaker is saying that the FBI was weaponized and we are going to investigate. Oh, man, what a day in America. What a happy day in America to hear that come from the House Speaker. Let's see if they do it.
Watched him get out of control with no check and balance. But last week was tough. But remember what my father always said. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. And let me tell you what happened after last week. Our very first bill, we repealed 87,000 IRS agents.
You promised to do that.
We promised to do it. We made it in our in our commitment to America, which you've talked a lot about, and we'll check it off as they go.
I have my own copy.
Yeah, but you know what else we did next? We
What
just
else?
passed
What
the
else?
church-style committee that Jim Jordan will run, looking at the weaponization of government. You know what we just passed right now?
Wow, a bill to investigate the weaponization of government. Wow. Oh, man, that's good. That's good news.
A select committee on China. And we got 146 Democrats to vote with us. Pelosi would never allow this. I had an agreement with her, and she backed away the night before. So you want to bring jobs back from China to America. You want to stop them from buying our farmland. You want to stop them from stealing our intellectual property. This is where it all starts. And this is only our first couple days in power.
So the power of the purse, which we'll talk about at length, the power of subpoena, those are the two big powers you have. Okay, let's focus on the investigation part. Jim Jordan in appropriations. Then we got James Comer. They'll both be joining us tonight.
Yes.
And he'll be looking into the Biden family syndicate. We know, everybody in this room knows one thing, that Joe Biden lied. When Joe Biden said not one time did he ever talk to his son Hunter about his foreign business dealings, we have photographic evidence and evidence of meetings that had taken place and witnesses that will attest to such.
We've got documents that they denied us until we're in the majority. Do you think the president, more than 40 years of being elected, why do you think he finally went to the border? Because we were sworn in. He knows what's coming. You've got to secure your border. And we're going to use every power we have to make sure we protect this country and look out for the American taxpayer.
I think last...
Sounding good. Sounding like, it's good muscle flex. Good muscle flex by McCarthy. Vinny DiMartini says, sounds great. Nothing ever happens, though. All BS. Is McCarthy just another fucking lying politician? I don't know.
Last week, at least a part of it, was Republicans around the country were disappointed in past speakers. I'll give one example, John Boehner. I was disappointed in John Boehner. And I think that there were people that wanted the assurances. I had interviewed you enough. I had asked you repeatedly the commitments to America. I have my version right here, which we'll talk about. And they wanted to know these investigations were real. What other investigations?
Well, you've got to hold government accountable. For the whole time the Democrats have been in power, all they've done is increase spending. Why don't we have a check and balance? Think of this. When the Republicans were in power last time for 8 years, you know how much discretionary spending increased in those 8 years? Zero. They were in power.
I hear what people are saying in the chat that nothing will ever happen, but I think the appointment, if you listen to what they're saying, the appointment of these Republicans, these new Republicans to these committees is very, very powerful. Right? It unfolds over time. Nothing happens in a snap, but it now opens the door to the idea, the acceptable, run of common idea that many Americans don't know, which is that government is corrupt at many levels, is going to be looked at no matter what. All right, so I highly doubt that those committees won't be formed. Will they get anything done? Well, sometimes just talking about it is enough. Fake news, they're not going to cover it, but Fox is certainly covering it. Fox is getting the word out.
Power for 4 years. They increased it by 30%. They went from spending $4 trillion to $7 trillion. We don't have that type of money. They created inflation. So we've got to get our country under control financially. How do we do that too? Energy policy. Watch what they've...
I don't think McCarthy knows jack shit about, how to decrease debt. We have a fiat currency system in this country that is not going to let that happen. The debt is now $28.5 trillion. There's no nation on the face of the earth, right, combined that can pay back $28 trillion, trillion with a T. So this notion of debt, reduce the debt, is not really, it's not real anymore. It's not a real thing. The government prints money when they're in debt, and they issue credit, sell treasury bonds and corporate bonds or whatever they're doing to raise the money, right? Or just printing it from out of nowhere, right? that's not going to stop. I don't see a turning point in that. It's just going to be more of that. And so what? Inflation, well, if inflation is inexplicably connected to that, right? The more money you flood into an economy, the more inflation will hit. Things get more expensive because there's more money there. So anyway, don't hold your breath for inflation to come down or the debt ceiling to come down or go up or whatever. Inflation is what it is. It creeps up historically. That's what it is.
They've done to make us weak. They made our price of gas go up, but they made us weak around the world. We're going to become energy independent. Our border's not secure. But look what they have done to our schools as well, right? We're going to pass a Parents' Bill of Rights.
Wow.
Also, when you think about this as well, when we look at checks and balances,
We'll check in with Congresswoman Elise Stefanik, House Majority Leader Steve Scalise,
whoa.
the big investigation
I'm sorry.
will be James Comer. And
there's another thing he said right here that was kind of spectacular. Listen to this.
we are going to stand up for exactly what the commitment said. An economy that's strong, a nation that's safe, a future that's built on freedom, and a government that's held accountable.
Let me ask you this question. What did you make of this story about Joe Biden and top secret classified information, especially after what he said about President Trump, especially after the raid at Mar-a-Lago, especially after Hillary Clinton? Remember the July 2016 press conference, Jim Comey, no reasonable prosecutor would ever prosecute way more top secret classified information, never mind the deleted emails with BleachBit and the destroyed devices with hammers and the removal of SIM cards. What does that mean now?
The idea that Hannity, just think for a second, the realization that Hannity is speaking to the Speaker of the House about these issues openly and honestly, and the House Speaker has a big smile saying, we're going after him, is a breath of fresh air. It really is. We're gonna look at these issues mostly of deep state corruption, for lack of a better term, FBI weaponizing, having 80 agents at Twitter, probably 180 agents right here on fucking, BlueTube. Right. So, and who knows how many on Facebook. But these things need to be looked at. And there's a big smile on his face. We're going for them. We're going after them.
In terms of all those Democrats that wanted Donald Trump arrested almost immediately.
They're going to have to eat their words. But the hypocrisy, think about this. They've gotten away with so much for so long. This was discovered before the last election, just like the laptop. They think they can lie to the American public. They think they can control the media, control companies to shut down if one media company writes about it. They think they're above the law.
Yeah.
Why weren't they raided? Why didn't they have the FBI?
That is earth-shaking what he's saying. He's like, we're going after him. We're gonna look at it. That's what he's saying. I realize that might not be what he does, but he's certainly saying it.
Guy coming in. Why didn't he in 60 Minutes say, well, I understand that because I bet I have the same problem? Did Barack Obama have some of this when he was writing his book? Does Hillary Clinton have some? And you know what? All those people have been in government for years. President Trump just ran for president. You think he knew everything? You think he went and moved his own boxes?
And there is the kicker. There is the House Speaker calling Trump President Trump. That right there is an endorsement for Trump to run 2024. That's an endorsement. That's what that is. All right. Kevin McCarthy just endorsed Trump for president 2024.
And you know what? They were locked away. Biden's were not. And how many years after did he have them?
The FBI actually went to Mar-a-Lago. They looked at all those documents. They asked for a padlock. The padlock request was granted. And then all of a sudden a raid.
They think the law doesn't apply to them. They think they write their own. And that's what infuriates the American public.
No, I'll tell you what it is, Speaker McCarthy, respectfully. They believe it. You got half the country that believes that somehow the other half of the country, mostly in the middle, are full of white people that hate, blacks and gays and just hate everybody, right? Hate them. Right? That's what they believe. Right? Now, when you step in a car, if you get your car and drive into the middle of the country, you don't find it. You find pockets of it. You find pockets of racism in America, maybe less than 5% of the country. But if you go to cities, for example, and you go into a, historically black neighborhood like, I don't know, pick Bushwick in Brooklyn or fucking Bedford-Stuyvesant, you will find radicalized blacks to the tune of 50% that just hate white people and believe that white people are the blue-eyed devil. Right? And that's real. I don't know if it's 50%, but it's very high. Even people that, even blacks that are successful will say that. Oh, yeah, the black people have such a hard time in this country. It's all their fault. It's all the white people's fault. Now, racism is a double-edged sword. But the point is, the very snowflakes that are creating this illusion of, white supremacy and homophobia and the rest, is just factually incorrect. It's a distorted world view based on their own inner insensitivity to conflicting ideas. Shut them down. We need quiet. We need safe space, and everybody should shut the fuck up and only speak when they're supposed to speak. That kind of thinking, and it leads to tyranny. It's the wrong way to operate government, and that's what you have, right? That's what half the country is, and you got to deal with it. Right? You got to change their mind on it. How do you do that? I don't know.
America believes in fairness and honesty, and that's not what we're getting from them.
And we are just getting things started. And on that note, we continue with.
So that's the Hannity report. Pretty good. Let's talk about this story briefly. I went over on the other one, but let's talk about this. Eat one of these 4 diets to extend your life. New Harvard study reveals. Wait a second. It's new that diet can extend your life? Good diet can extend your life? Really? Is that a new? How do you say that with a straight face? That we've known this for 50 years or more. Right? The cavemen probably knew it. Right? Hey, if you eat that wild buffalo over there and those vegetables growing out of the ground, you'll be pretty healthy. If you eat those rocks over there that look like coal, you'll probably be unhealthy. And don't eat those berries over there because they're poison. We've always known that. This is not groundbreaking, but it seems like it is all of a sudden. Good news for those who with New Year's resolutions to eat healthy. So they outline. Miraculously, Harvard University identified 4 common healthy eating patterns that can help reduce the risk of an early death by up to 20%. I would argue, and I am a scientific expert, for lack of a better term. I, Marcus Conte, am a nutrition expert, right? And I have a piece of paper called a bachelor's degree in nutrition that states that, and 6 years clinical dietary experience when I was a young man and had teeth. And I could tell you that my study was focused on longevity and prevention. That's what I was, wanted to do. And then I got into the hospital scene and I realized that that's not what it was at all. It was more about medical industrial complex, make money for the hospital, shut the fuck up and do as you're told. So I'm coming from a place of expertise with this. Scientific expert, Marcus Conte reporting. Can never be, I'm following the science. The study followed 75,000 women, that's a lot of women, participating in the nurses' health study, and more than 44,000 men. That's a lot of people to do a study. That is over 100,000 people were studied. And participants who changed their diet by making it 25% healthier, by integrating just one of the healthy eating plans into their lives, could potentially reduce the risk of dying from cancer by 7 to 18%, cardiovascular disease by 6 to 13%, and respiratory disease by 35 to 46%, and neurological disorders by 7%. So diet, and they label a few, pick your poison. It's essentially, diet is not really complicated. It's don't eat processed stuff like junk food and candy and cake and garbage. Eliminate that first, and then just lean on foods that are not highly processed, like any fruits and vegetables, any nuts, grains. It's really rather simple. And of course, you got to exercise. If you don't get the body moving, if you don't drink enough water, if you don't get out in the sun, if you don't meditate, if you don't know how to relax, if you don't sleep enough, those are all complications as well. You don't just, it's not a magic bullet. It's not a magic trick diet. It has to be incorporated with everything else. But it is interesting that Harvard is now reporting that these types of diets, I would suggest always go with the plant-based diet like the Mediterraneans did, and stop eating the animals. Stick with the vegetables, man. Stick with the vegetables. So what is that? What is it? What does that have to do with fat kids, which is what I wanted to talk about? So here's an interesting clip. New guidelines for treating childhood obesity include medication and surgery. All right. So we know that obesity in children is a problem, right? And it's inherited. It's a transmittable disease, obesity. When you have a fat kid, you look at the parents, and almost always they're both what? Fat. All right. So they're taught to be fat, overeat. All right. That's the biggest problem right there. It's the overconsumptions of food. Anybody in my research, in my experience, I never saw a fat kid who really had a medical complication like their thyroid was overactive or some bullshit like that. That's not true. It's overeating, right? What kind of surgery? What, are you going to sew their mouth shut? Let's listen to the report.
New recommendations to treat childhood obesity now include weight loss pills and surgery.
Pills.
According to the American Academy of Pediatrics, which updated its guidelines.
The American Academy of Pediatrics says pills and surgery. That's how we're going to take care of the kids. Pills and very, very experimental, expensive surgery on children that are fat.
For the first time in 15 years. Dr. Diane Hess joins me now. She's the founder and medical director of Gramercy Pediatrics in New York City. Dr. Hess, how significant is this move to treating childhood obesity with both weight loss pills and surgery?
Well, they have been around. Some of the medicines are more recently approved for the use of ages 12 and up. Surgery we've had, it's not new. It's important because now we have guidelines. We have guidelines that we hope the insurance companies will recognize and actually start paying for obesity care and not consider it something cosmetic. I think that's our biggest challenge.
Her biggest challenge is getting the money for the pills and the drugs to drug up the kids so that they're not fat anymore. That's her primary purpose. Right? We need the money from the insurance companies to get the pills and the surgery for the kids that need it. This is a pediatric nurse, a pediatric doctor saying it. Here she is. Looks like a lefty on fucking New York, Gramercy Park. So she's a real doctor. I looked into it. She's a real doctor.
We need the pediatricians to be able to care for these kids. We need to be able to write prescriptions. But I can write the prescriptions, but if they don't get filled because they're not covered, my prescription is useless. And I can tell you, I've been doing obesity medicine for 20 years in pediatrics. I'm one of the few people, I was one of the first. I can tell you that 1 out of 10 maybe of my prescriptions get covered, 1 out of 10. So
she's very disappointed that her prescriptions don't get covered by healthcare because they're fucking newfangled and experimental and probably very, very dangerous to young people. What's the side effect of your drug that you're pushing on kids? What is the side effect of a kid that has a behavior problem, obesity, a behavior problem, and you're cutting out his stomach, you're stapling it, or you're removing a piece of his intestine so that he doesn't absorb as much as food that he's eating. Why don't you stop the behavior of overeating first and foremost?
You know, it's exciting.
Why not a rehab for kids? Why not sit them? Look, kids are not fucking stupid. You take them out of that environment of fat parents that are overfeeding them. Give them 30 days in a rehab and let them learn how to eat. So that when mommy is pushing the fucking Twinkies on them, the kid says, no, that's bad for me. You educate the kids. You don't. That's what I said.
Hopefully the insurances will follow suit and recognize that they need to pay for these drugs. But, you know, drugs is not the first line of choice. We have to talk about lifestyle modification and environmental situations that are leading to obesity in children.
So if 1 out of 10 are actually taking your recommendation, and then that must be just a cost decision, I would imagine, what's the practical effect of that on the health of the other 9 out of 10 who aren't able to follow your recommendations?
It's so silly because it's a penny wise, a pound foolish. Because if my patient goes on to develop diabetes by the age of 14 or 15 and they have type 2 diabetes, then that insurance company has to pay for their lifelong drugs, diabetic medicine, hypertension, heart disease. Whereas if we can prevent diabetes, it would be so much more cost effective.
Yeah, see, there we agree. You got to prevent the diabetes before it happens. But not by drugging them and cutting and stapling their stomach, surgery.
But we know that the U.S. healthcare system is broken. You know, I can't refer a patient to a nutritionist unless they have type 2 diabetes.
That's fucked up, right? That's an accurate statement. She can't send the fat kid to a nutritionist because the insurance companies won't cover it. Instead, you got to wait till the kid, when his pancreas is about to explode because he's got diabetes, and he's about to die, and then he could go to a nutritionist and try to reverse the damage already done. Prevent it before it happens. Obvious, potent approach to healthcare.
So I need my patient to get type 2 diabetes in order for their insurance to cover a nutritionist.
So do you think that insurance companies now have changed their mind? And give me a sense of your understanding of how parents think about obesity. In other words, is it a cosmetic? Is their first reaction that it...
Well, I can tell you right now what insurance companies are going to say. If it covers medicine, medication, and surgery, they're going to get that. They're going to get that bill passed. They're going to get that through because there's money in it. There's a lot less money in educating children about diet and empowering them to not be fat and overeat and be victim of nonstop fast food commercials promoting garbage food, fake food. Right?
It's a cosmetic issue and not a health issue. And where are insurance companies, in your understanding, in terms of their assessment of obesity as a medical a challenge as opposed to just a cosmetic one?
Well, I can tell you in pediatrics, there are certain companies like Cigna will never cover any GLP-1 inhibitor that I write. It will never cover any appetite suppressant that I write.
Appetite suppressant, right? You need to give a kid a suppressant. You got to stimulate him in a different way so that he doesn't eat the food or he feels nauseous. They have medications that I know they have it in, for example, alcoholism, where someone that is allegedly an alcoholic and can't stop drinking, if they drink the alcohol, they get viscerally sick. I forgot what it's called, but there is a pill that you can take. And when you drink the alcohol, you come close to death. That's a stupid way to work. That's a ridiculous, barbaric approach to treating illness, right? It's just stupid, right? You got to prevent it. Rehab, education, right? Give kids the whole picture. Exercise, bring gymnastics. I would rather a kid go to school from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. and have 2 hours of nutrition, meditation, and not medication, meditation, and athletics, right? Not competitive athletics. Do like, Tai Chi or just gymnastics, or have kids stretch and move and learn about their fucking body, right? And no excuse. When the fat kid says he can't do it, get off your fat ass and do it. Hey, fat, you don't have to fat shame them, but just everybody is included in this, right? You're fat because you're not doing this. That's why you're fat, right? And if you join us at school and exercise and learn how to eat right, and let's all go outside because the sun is out, and let's breathe outside, and let's sit and meditate and be quiet for even fucking 10 minutes, all right? And look at our own mind. All right, you can fix these kids very quickly, all right? But there's no leadership there. Why? Because they want to staple the kid's stomach. They want to give the kid a pill that's going to fix the problem so nobody else has to deal with it. Just give him a pill. We got a pill for that, don't we? A surgery, yeah. We make 20 grand on that surgery. Let's staple the kid's stomach and see if it works.
Expect this is non-medical, this is cosmetic. We know obesity is a disease. It causes hypertension. It causes inflammation in our circulatory system. It causes worsening asthma, joint pain, depression, anxiety. These children are suffering. They have so many comorbidities. Now, the question you asked me about parents, this is a really sensitive topic because some parents feel very judged when you mention that their children are overweight.
Of course that's a great point. She says the doctor reports that parents are very, very sensitive. The snowflakes are sensitive. You just called my kid fat. You can't call my kid fat. How dare you? I'm going to sue you. You called my kid fat? How embarrassing to my kid. Well, it's your kid is fucking suffering, man. Your kid is fat and suffering, and it has a lot to do with you and the way you're raising the kid. That's obvious. It's obvious based on the scale. Put the kid on the scale and you see it.
They have so many comorbidities. Now, the question you asked me about parents, this is a really sensitive topic because some parents feel very judged when you mention that their children are overweight. Some parents themselves are overweight, and then some doctors are overweight, so they don't even want to bring up the topic. So this is such.
They don't even want to bring up the topic, the doctor says. They don't even want to bring up the topic. So, and her, again, her defense to that is, all right, we'll go along with the pills and the stapling of the stomachs. Because that's what it is. When you're talking about surgery, that's what the surgery is. It's stapling stomachs. It's literally removing parts of the intestine so that the food doesn't absorb completely. It's fucking sick. These are sick, barbaric, prehistoric, ideas, right? Self-mutilation is what it is.
A complex issue.
Poor kids.
And I applaud the AAP for writing this article, but I do feel that is a little, it's somewhat naive that a general pediatrician can manage all of this. I really think it takes a pediatric obesity specialist.
A pediatric obesity specialist. What about empowering the schools again and getting them to teach the kids what to eat? What is wrong with that? Right? Yeah. Oh, my kid, you're fat shaming him. He doesn't like broccoli. He likes Fruit Loops in the morning. He wakes up every morning and he loves his Fruit Loops, which has zero nutritive value at all, and he pours cow milk on it, which is worse. All right? Why don't you teach the kids how to eat? Teach the kids how to eat and exercise and meditate and enjoy the sun and enjoy their goddamn lives, and stop listening to the fat parent and the TV set that tells them to overeat.
And what ages are we talking about here, doctor, in terms of making the decisions that are best to handle this issue before it starts to grow into some of those larger problems that you mentioned?
So the article is for ages 2 and up, but general pediatricians can manage kids who are overweight. I saw one actually very overweight, and we discussed about overfeeding and snacking and what the grandmother's giving while the parents are at work. It's, for me, talking...
The family disease. That's what she's saying. She's outlining the family disease.
About nutrition is preventative, right? I don't want my patients to get to the point where we have to treat obesity. But the truth is that, 20% of our patients are overweight or obese. So
I'll leave it there. I agree and disagree. I agree that she knows what she's talking about in terms of prevention. However, she's going the way of the snowflake and capitulating to big pharma and and big medical industrialism, hospitals. Yeah, we like that idea. Oh yeah, we could do some stapling. We'll have obesity stapling specialists at the hospital waiting for the kid to come in, and we'll line them all up and we'll staple all their stomachs together before we even try the other thing, which is teach them what to eat. So there you go, Mark Scotty reporting. I don't want to talk about that story. Let's look at the markets. Ding, the market is open. The market is, oh, boom, wow. All right, green. We're seeing green. I see green. Looks like the S&P 500 up 17, Dow Jones Industrial Average up 72, NASDAQ up 64 points today. And we're only open for, we're open 28 minutes already, and we're up. Apple down 8 cents. What happened, Apple? I think in light of the Republicans taking power in the House, I think there's going to be a lot less pressure on big tech, big social media, Amazon, Google, Facebook, Twitter. Well, Twitter's already in good hands with Elon Musk, but I think we're going to see a spike up in technology now that the Democrats are gone and Republicans are coming into some sort of power in the House, because they're not going to pressure. They're not going to this pressure to censor people in big media, in social media, is the cause of the collapse. When you censor people, they turn away and they look at it as fake. Right? When you stop censoring them, they flock back like the birds. Right? I have a bird feeder in my yard. Right? When the bird feeder's empty, there's nobody there. When you feed it, when you fill it, there's a lot of birds there. When you fill it regularly, they're all there, right? Fucking all there. And I could prove it to you, man. So the bird, you got to, I don't know what my point is, but I get to show a bird video. There's my bird video. I'll show you a bird video. It's a pretty cool video. Cool video, right? There's the birds eating. See the birds? Hello, birds. It's in my backyard. See all the birds? Hello, birds. Hello, birds. We love you, birds. We love you, birds. See, the birds know what to eat. The birds know good seed when they see it. Right? So anyway, I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. So thank you all for joining me. My name is Mark Scante, and I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you spreading the word. We love everybody. We love everybody. I know. I seem like I'm on the right these days, but there is no right, or there is no right and wrong per se. Right? Is there? There is a right and a left, but is there really a right and wrong, or are we all just one? Are we all just one? I think we are. Let's come back together as a big American family, and let's do this. Let's do it. Peace, everybody. See you tomorrow.